Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a routine which is suitable for beginners. It's low level, so if you don't like the harder exercises or you're suffering a little bit from achy back or sore shoulders from working at a computer or just working at home, or if you've never done Pilates before, this will be perfect for you. It'll give you a rough idea of what Pilates is all about, which is gentle control movement to help strengthen your core, to lengthen your muscles, every part of the body, so arms, legs, upper back, tummy muscles, hands and feet even. They all have an impact on how we move. So we're going to start standing. So starting with your feet, hip width distance apart, knees soft, and stand up nice and tall, and just wiggle your fingers and toes. So just try to get your body weight even through both feet, and let your spine lengthen. Imagine there's a piece of string pulling you from the top of your head up towards the ceiling. And your weight needs to be even through both feet. So to make sure your weight is even, I just want you to bring your body weight forward onto your toes and then back. So just a slow, gentle rocking movement, forward and back. So if I just do it sideways, you can see I'm bringing the weight forward onto my toes and then back onto my heels. And then just gradually reduce that swaying movement until you find the midpoint. So when you find your midpoint, your head should be on top of your spine, your shoulders above your hips, and you should feel that your weight is even through both feet. Your big toes, your little toes, the centre of the heels are connecting with the floor. Now, engage your tummy. So we're going to draw your pelvis into neutral and engage your tummy muscles. So finding roughly a 30% position for your core. Not pulling in as tight as possible. We want just that slight engagement of your core. If you pull in too tight, you contract everything and you won't move, basically. So we just want that 30% position. Engage your pelvic floor and a couple of nice deep breaths to change the breathing into the ribs and not into your belly. So if you pop your hands onto the ribs, take a breath in, allowing the air to fill the lungs, open the ribs as you breathe out. Feel the ribs close. And again. And out. So we call this lateral thoracic breathing. So it's the rib cage that are making your lungs expand and reduce, not the diaphragm, which is what makes your tummy push in and out. It's quite important. So you want to keep the core muscles engaged, but you need to breathe. Try and avoid holding your breath. If you find you're holding your breath through some of the exercises, it might be that the exercise is too much for you. Okay, so just lengthen up through your spine, keeping these soft, and we'll get everything moving. So we're going to start from the top and work our way down through the body. So gently turn the head from side to side. Nice and slowly. Keep it controlled. And work within your comfort range always. Back to the center, drop your chin down. And then look up. You might want to just tilt it slightly to lift the chin, look to the ceiling, and then drop back down. And lift the chin again, and look up. And then bring your chin back to parallel. Rolling the shoulders, so big circles. If you keep your hands on your thighs, this is drawing little circles on your thighs. So trying to keep your arms relaxed and just focusing on the shoulders and change direction. Into an arm circle, so float the arms up, out, and down. So big circle. Now try and get your arms straight. So reach up, out, and down. So we're trying to straighten the elbow joint. Especially if you've been sitting at a desk doing a lot of computer work, we want to try and open up parts of the upper body, the shoulders, the arms. Reach through the fingers, so you're extending through the wrists and through all those finger joints. One more. Excellent. Now take your arms back up and just bend your elbows, put your hands behind your head, press your elbows back, push your head into the hands, do a little side bend, and straighten. Breathe out to bend, breathe in to straighten. Doesn't need to to be massive, so if you think, oh no, I will be a bit wobbly, don't go so far. And use your tummy muscles. And try and keep your head on top of your spine. And not sticking your chin forward by pressing with your hands. Do the other way around. Push your head into your hands. So you should feel the starting open up a little bit into here. And then release and come back down. Excellent. Okay. So taking your feet a little bit wider, just bend your knees and rotate the pelvis round in little hip circles. Now the hip circle is about trying to tilt the pelvis in each direction as much as you can. So when you tuck your tail under to tilt it forwards, you want to feel it stretch your lower back. But when you push it back behind you, you want to feel that bit of a stretch into your tummy. And go the other way. Keep shoulders relaxed and be soft. Try and keep the shoulders still. This is one of those movements that a lot of people feel a little bit self-conscious about. Try not to, because it's a really good little movement for your lower back area, particularly if you've been sitting and you feel stiff and achy. It just loosens everything off. If you're prone to SI joint pain, which is these points here, the hip circles, let's go the other way, is particularly good. Use your tummy. If it clunks a little bit as you circle around, again, keep doing this exercise. Use your tummy muscles. One more the other way. One more set the other way, I should say. Aim for about 5 or 6 circles in each direction. This is something you could do at any point during the day, just to loosen the back off. And then come back to the center. Excellent. Now, still going to concentrate on symmetry and keeping your weight even through both feet. But we need to get your knees and ankles moving a little bit more. So just rest your hands lightly on your hips as you breathe out. I just want you to bend your knees and then straighten up. So it's just a little knee bend. Try and keep your neck on top of your spine and your shoulders above your hips as you bend your knees. So it's not massive. I have seen some people who go right the way down with the hips. I can't, I don't go very far. But try quite tight calf muscles. Yours are wearing high heels when I was younger. Paying for it now. Excellent. Now from there, just turn the feet out and repeat. Drawing the tailbone under, keep that neutral position through your spine and use these tummy muscles. Pulling gently. Breathe out to bend. Breathe in to straighten. And again, down, and up, and once more. Lovely. And then back. Parallel. Well done. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. So we're going to move into a roll down. So I'm going to stand at the end of my mat so that we can go down onto the floor at the end. So feet parallel. Keep your knees slightly bent and just relax your arms. So roll down is about mobilizing your spine. Breathe in. As you breathe out, drop your chin to the chest and slowly bend. Take your time, let your head hang. Let your arms relax and hang. And just go as far as you can. Breathe in, long breath out to slowly come back up. Keeping the knees bent, draw the tailbone under, and restack your spine slowly. Relax the shoulders, lift the chin, and repeat. Now you don't have to go all the way to the floor, so you might find you've got a bit of tightness or restriction, and you only get to about here. That's okay. Breathe in, long breath out, and draw yourself back up. So drawing the tailbone under, restacking your spine, relaxing the shoulders, lifting the head right at the end. Head is still part of your spine, so really always bring that head back right up onto the top. Okay, down you go again. So I'm going to go all the way down to the floor because I can. And it's not uncomfortable, it's quite nice. Breathe in and a long breath out to slowly come back up. Relax the shoulders and lift the chin. Now that we're back up, I'm just going to pop the hands in the small of the back and shoulders and knees underneath your hips. Drawing the shoulder blades back and down, just to make sure you're in a neutral position. Now as you come into this position, you want to feel that you've got that little curve in your lower back, but you don't want to drop it down so you stick your bum up. You don't want to be arching, so you want sort of a midway point. Make sure the knees are underneath your hips, as it helps you with your balance. So we're just going to do legs. So breathe in, as you breathe out, slide one leg back, lift it and hold. As you hold, try and keep your weight even through both hands and the supporting knee. And be aware of whether anything changes in the body. Okay, bring it back down, change legs. So your weight's even through the hands and the knees. Take it back and hold. Keeping the weight even if you can, through both hands and the knees. So just watch your hip doesn't lift. Keep your chin tucked in so you're looking down at the floor. Don't let your head drop to look at your knees, try not to look up. And then replace. Legs are quite heavy. And holding the leg, change legs, in this position is going to work the glutes, your lower back, your hamstrings as well as your core. Point your toes, create a little bit of length in the limb without actually stretching, so you don't want to move the body. And breathe. And then replace. Okay, other leg, well done. Take it back, your height, keeping the pelvis level. Drawing the shoulders down. And keep your arms straight. And always think about pushing your chest away from the mat. Your legs should start to feel a little bit heavier. And then replace it back down. Excellent. Let's change legs again. So lift and hold. So now that hopefully the legs are feeling a little bit more comfortable, or they might be getting heavy, think about what's happening at the top. Try and draw the shoulders down, keep your arms straight. Weight should be going down evenly through both hands, which is not easy. But be aware of whether you're using your fingers. Let's do one more. Just to balance yourself up. And again, hold. Neck in line with your spine, so tuck the chin in. Breathe. And then replace it back down. Well done. Let's add an arm. So I'm going to challenge you a little bit this time. So we're going to take the leg back, hold. Now, often we take the arm above your head. This time I want you to try and just get your balance and see if you can lift your hand and float it out to the side. Now, you're not going to get the counterbalance that you would do if you had your arm above your head. So watch you don't tip to the side. Change. So leg goes back, hold, then see if you can lift that arm out to the side without wobbling. Now be aware of whether the foot that's on the floor is pressing into the floor to help you to balance. So leg goes back, use your tummy, so pulling in gently, arm out to the side. Bring the hand down, bring your knee down. Well, that's not as easy as it looks, is it? Okay, take one leg back. Opposite arm goes out. Try not to balance, to wobble, try and balance. Watch you're not tipping forward. Keep that supporting arm straight. Draw the shoulders down. And replace. Shall we try one more on each side? So take the leg back first. Hold. Watch the hips not hitching. Use your tummy. Arm goes out to the side. Breathe. And then replace. Okay, last one, I promise. Leg goes back. Hold. You may well be starting to feel it a little bit in your wrists. The only way your wrists get stronger is to weight back. Yeah, draw the shoulders down. And then replace. Well done. Let's do a little child pose to release. So open the knees, toes together, hips to the heels, and head down, and stretch. Now don't worry if you can't get your hip all the way down. I know I can get my hip down as well as my hips down. The important bit is that your bum goes to your heels. You want to feel that releasing the lower back, so stretching it out. Use your arms and just put a bit of pressure in your arms to push your hips to the heels. to increase the stretch. If you get lower, like I can, get a bit more stretch into your arms and your shoulders. Excellent. Okay, let's get you onto your tummy. And have a little bit of a roll, just to flatten yourself to the floor. And just pop your arms down by your side. Now, I want you to hold your legs parallel and squeeze your buttocks, press your hips into the floor. And then engage your tummy muscles. So you're drawing your navel up to your spine, hands relaxed, tuck the chin in. We're just going to do a basic swan dive. Oh, take your nose. So breathe in. As you breathe out, just lift the chest, head, shoulders, hands if you can, but if you need to keep them on the floor, that's okay. Breathe in through. And again, lift. If you've managed to lift the hands, reach them towards your ankles, to draw the shoulders down. And lower. Breathe out, lift. And breathe in. Now we're going to try and stay up. So breathe out, lift, and hold. Deep breath in, and out, and then slowly down. Now if you are new to Pilates, this is a really good exercise to do to get your breathing correct. So when you hold that up position, try and breathe into the rib cage, not into your tummy. So you want to feel the rib cage expand, press into the mat a little, and then close, and then come back down. If you're feeling your tummy press into the floor, you're still using the diaphragm, you're not using the ribs. You need to try and engage those abdominal muscles. So breathe out, lift, hold, deep breath in. It's where you want to feel the rib cage expand, out, and lower down. It's a really good one to practice. If your back's a little bit uncomfortable, don't try to come up so high. Take a couple more. Use those arms, reach them towards your ankles. And slowly down. And last one. Lift. Breathe in. And out. And then relax it down. Excellent. Whew, have a rest. So, we're going to stay on your front. I want you just to come up onto your elbows for a little bit of low level leg pull. Can't speak this morning. This is like a half plank from yoga, but with a slightly different focus. Have your elbows directly underneath your shoulders, still with the legs parallel. Engage your tummy. So you're going to pull the navel up towards your spine. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just lift your hips off the floor. Now it doesn't need to be massive. You should still be able to feel your thighs on the floor. Draw the shoulders down, look at the backs of your hands. Hold, and breathe. If it is uncomfortable in your lower back, you might need to come back down and try again. I'm just going to shuffle up the mat a wee bit. Okay, let's try the next bit. So, if you had to come down, have a rest, that's okay. When you're ready, come back up again. So just the hips are leaving the floor. And still in neutral. If that does feel okay and you want to go up higher, lift your hips even more so you come onto your knees. But my spine is still in neutral, so it's still in the same shape it was when I was on hands and knees, which is your natural curve. Use your tummy, use your pelvic floor. Try and draw the shoulders down so you still should feel it in your arms, in your chest, down your abs, into your thighs, hopefully not the lower back. So on your lower back, you need to come back down. You've maybe done enough. Maybe need to rethink, use your tummy again. If you want to make it harder, tuck your toes under and lift your knees. Keep the body parallel to the mat. Hold and breathe. If that does make you a bit shaky, come back down onto your knees. Another few seconds, if you can. And then come Well done. Not easy. Good one to practice, but don't overdo it. Keep it small amounts of time, 30 seconds at a time. Each level is good. You need to release your back after that. So push up onto hands and knees and into cat stretch. So that is lovely after all that. Tuck the chin in, tuck your tail under. Nice big stretch. And slowly take the stretch the other way and look up. Arching again. And one more time. Let the tummy drop. And look up. And then relax. Excellent. Okay, let's turn you over. So as you lie on your back, we've changed position. First thing we need to do is find neutral. So the best position to be in for the exercises lying on your back is the legs bent. This allows your spine to rest. We want to work all the muscles around the body without putting pressure into your spine. So you lie with your legs bent, hip width distance apart, but you don't want them up here. You shouldn't be able to touch your heels with your fingers. You want a bit of length between your heels and your hips so that your spine can lengthen and you can find neutral there. So your hip bones and pubic bone should be level and you'll have that little hollow in your lower back. Now just rest your hands by your sides and breathe into the ribs. So deep breath. Feeling your rib cage expand as your lungs fill up with air and then close as you breathe out. And again, breathe in and out. And just let your head roll gently from side to side. Just see if there's any tension or tightness in the neck and shoulders. If it's feeling a wee bit tight, you might want to just tuck the chin in a little bit more, try and lengthen through the back of your neck. So you want to feel the stretch down the back of your neck. Give yourself a couple of double chins, have a feel. And then reach the hands past your hips to draw those shoulders down. Keep neutral, so watch your pelvis doesn't tilt backwards. And breathe. Now we're going to do 100, so taking a breath in as you breathe out. Lift one foot into tabletop. Hold. If you can, bring the other leg up beside it. And hold. For 10 long, slow breaths. Count to 5 as you breathe in. And out. So breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Space if you're counting to 100 as you do that 10 times. Check the shoulders, don't let them lift. And if you get a little bit shaky, pop one foot down. Try and keep the knees above the hips, shins parallel to the ceiling, that feels just a wee bit high there. But watch your knees are not here, try and keep them back there. So you want to feel your lower abs working, but you don't want to feel that your spine is being lifted away from the mat, putting it under pressure. And if you find 10 breaths is too much, just do what you can, build up to 10. And when you've finished, you need to stretch. So slide the legs down and a full body stretch. Pull up the toes, press your back into the floor as you stretch. Lovely. So bring the feet back to parallel. Again, check that the heels are not too close to your hips. Hands down by your sides. Now I'm going to do a basic single leg stretch, but then we're going to quickly take it up. If you're new to this, just stick with this first level. If you know Pilates well, you could always go into single leg stretch with the harder option. So this is opposite arm and leg. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lift one leg, extend it as the opposite arm goes over your head. And replace. And change. to do properly, it's quite challenging. What we're trying to do is to challenge your center. So as you lift the leg and float the arm over your head, just be aware that your spine does not lift out of neutral. So you're trying to feel your sacrum and your rib cage, that's these points here, connecting with the floor. That would be your sacrum, which is just to the other side of your back there, and your ribs, so down under here, those 3 points connecting with the mat. Keep your chin tucked in, and keep the body still. So, as particularly as you change feet, the body will want to wobble. Try and keep it as still as you can. So imagine you're balancing a glass of water on your hip bones. Don't necessarily try to touch the floor, because if you're a bit tight in your shoulders, your arms probably won't get to the floor. You might only get to about there. And then return. Moving slowly. There are various different ways you can do single leg stretch. I have often seen a lot of people who bring their knee up and then extend. And then return and then bring it down. I don't like to do that personally, because what I find is as the knee comes up, your pelvis immediately tilts back and you press your lower back into the floor, so you've lost the control. And then the same thing as you bring it back. So you're then creating a rocking movement of the pelvis. We don't want that. You want to keep your pelvis as still as you can. Watch your leg doesn't follow your arm over your head, which again will take your pelvis the opposite way. Okay, let's make it a bit harder. So if anyone wants to try this, lift the feet one at a time and do the same thing. As soon as you've started to do this, you'll feel your shoulders want to end up around your heels. So use your arms, reach them past the hip as the arm goes over your head. Keep drawing the shoulder down into the mat. If you're holding your breath, you need to put your feet down. Go back to the previous option. Take your time, don't rush it. Breathe out to extend. Note the angle on my leg, it's going to roughly 45-degree angle. I'm not dropping it to the mat. I'm not taking it vertical. So it's controlled and precise. That position is the optimum angle of your leg to maintain neutral, but it's still going to work your abdominals. Hopefully that will bring pressure into your back. Okay, let's try 2 more. This you should be feeling right down here. Just pulling into your back, stop. And then come down gently, 1 foot at a time, and stretch. Full body stretch. Nice. Okay, let's get onto your side. So we've done the front, we've done the back. We want to do the sides now. So a little bit of basic side kick. Stretch your legs out. Have your feet slightly forward of the hips, arm as a pillow. Hand on the floor in front. Now use your tummy, make sure you're right up on the hips, so your hips, knees and ankles are stacked. Lift one leg hip height and hold. If you can, bring the other leg up. 2, and hold, and breathe. Long, slow, controlled breathing. Again, if you find you're holding your breath, you might need to put one leg down. You could always put the other one down, bottom one down, bending your knee to take the pressure off your hip and to make it easier. If you can, put your hand to your thigh. Now as you put your hand on your thigh, reach it down the side of the leg to draw the shoulder blade down, and hold, and breathe. Float that arm up over your head, palm down. Now lengthen and stretch through both arms and both legs. So you're trying to open up the space between the ribs and your hips. Use your tummy. Try not to wobble. This is my good side. I don't wobble much on this side. So fairly solid into the floor. But keep lengthening and stretching. So again, we're similar to 100. Maybe hold for about 8 to 10 breaths. But use your tummy, use your pelvic floor, very important. Okay, when you're done, bring your hand back. Replace it to the floor and lower the legs down. And just relax the leg forward just to relax all these muscles that we're working. A nice little release would be to curl into a ball just to bring both knees up, especially if your back's a little bit achy with that, just stretches it out. It's a really good way of strengthening your back though. You want to feel it go down the front, round the back, as well as in the hip and down your leg. Excellent. Well done. Okay, let's do the other side. So again, use your arm as a pillow, stretch your legs out, make sure you can see your toes. Hand on the floor in front. So this arm that you're resting on, try and have the palm up so you're not hanging onto the floor. That way you can get your arm in line with your body. Lengthen and stretch through both legs. Breathe out, lift the top leg. And then the bottom leg, if possible. And hold. And breathe. Again, if you find, oh no, it's a bit painful, put the bottom leg back down. Make sure you stack the hips. And if you can, take your hand to your thigh. As that hand comes to your thigh, reach it down on the side of the leg a little. Just to draw the shoulder down. Keeping the shoulder down, take the arm up and over. Hands shoulder width apart and stretch. Be aware of whether you're rolling back onto your bum. Try and stay up onto the hip. Create length and space between the ribs and your hips. Use your tummy muscles, not your back. If you use your back, your legs will start to drift backwards, making you look like a banana shape. You want the feet slightly forward. Again, 8 to 10 breaths, if you can. And slowly bring it back. Your place to the mat. And relax the legs down. Top leg forward into recovery position to relax these muscles. And then maybe curling into a ball just as you really stretch to release your back. Lovely. Okay, let's come up into a sitting position. Now, sitting exercises are generally done either cross-legged, but if you find that's uncomfortable, you could sit with the soles of the feet together, knees out, but make sure you've got plenty of space between your heels and your hips so you can come right up onto your sit bones. Now, we did quite a bit for a few minutes anyway with your weight on your hands earlier, so if you're struggling a little bit with your wrists, I'm just going to put in a few little wrist exercises. I'm just going to nip my watch off there. So I want you just to interlace your fingers, hold your arms up in front with your forearms together, and then just rotate your wrists. Slowly, but big circles. If it's a bit nippy, then obviously make your circles smaller. But try and keep your elbows up high, and then change direction. Okay, then release. Now we're going to do what's called a wave. So it's just a wavy type movement with your hands. So this is going to work your waist and your fingers, your waist, your wrists even, and your fingers. Keep sitting up nice and tall as you weave through your wrist. Then hard bit is to do the other way around. So you're creating that wave. So it's bending your wrists forward and back. Excellent. And then release, and just give them a shake. Flick water to work your fingers. Imaginary water, obviously, especially on a cold day like this. That's it. You can tell when it's cold, my hands are cold, it feels like I'm going to lose my rings when I do that. Okay, now, just to challenge you and work your fingers a little bit more. So this is good if you do a lot of computer work. It helps keep your fingers strong. It's really good for musicians also who may play the guitar or the piano. So if you put your fingers and thumbs together, or your first finger and thumb together, then your middle finger and thumb, ring finger and pinkies, and then go back up. And keep doing that as quickly as you can, working up and down, finger to thumb, one finger at a time. Then see if you can do one way with one hand and the other way with the other. But tell if you're managing to get it going, because you can only look at one hand at a time. But try and do it as quickly as you can. There's something weird going on in my left hand. It doesn't feel quite the same as my right. Don't know what that's all about. And then give them a shake. Well done. That's not easy, it's good for the brain. Everything's good to get your brain working as well. So just give your hands a little bit of a rub. Excellent. So while I've got you sitting up, having done your little wrist exercises, let's do a little bit of spine twist. So arms out to the side. Maybe you want to do it in a crucifix position, especially if you've got a sore shoulder. Sit up tall, breathe out and twist. Keeping your shoulders down and your hips still, so you're just moving from the waist. Keep your weight going down through both sit bones and your neck in line with your spine. Stretch through the arms to create a little bit of length. Remember to lengthen the arm muscles. Get some extension into the elbows, wrists and fingers to open up your shoulders. Excellent. Last two. Last one. Now coming back to the front, just turn the palms forward and then just bring your arms forward as if you were hugging a tree and open. Breathe out to hug. Breathe in to open. But as you open, reach them back behind you, so open the front of the chest and then flow them forward. Hug a tree. And slowly, slowly reach back and slowly forward, hug a tree. Now use your tummy to try and keep your pelvis still. So as your arms are moving, your whole torso will want to counterbalance. Try and keep it still, so your core muscles, your pelvic floor come into play to keep everything still. Especially as they're going back, because your body wants to come forward. When they come forward, you might feel yourself rock back a little bit. That's a good stretch, only at the shoulders, don't let them end around your ears. Okay, one more time back. And then forwards. And relax. A couple of shoulder shrugs, if necessary. Excellent. And coming into cross-legged if you can, do a little mermaid stretch. So you're reaching one arm up and over, keep the shoulder down, bend the supporting arm, tilting the head towards the shoulder. So you're opening up again the space between your ribs and your hips, the bit we focused on with your side kick. That was the one where you were lying on your side. And then relax. Excellent. Let's go back onto the floor, onto your back. And just lower yourself back down gently. So coming back into that base position, the legs are bent, feet flat, shoulders back and down. And just check that you are in neutral. Now I'm going to do a little bit of work for your hips and your ankles this time. So lifting one leg into tabletop, the knees above the hip, shins parallel to the ceiling. You can use your hand if you want to and circle the legs and guide it round using your fingers. Or you can do it freehand and just control the leg. Drawing a little imaginary circle with your knee on the ceiling. But try not to let the hips roll. So if your circle was this big, your pelvis is going to rock from side to side. So just keep it small. And it's a lateral circle, so it's going away from the midline. And then change direction. Breathe as you rotate. Now hold the legs still and rotate your ankle. Excellent. And change direction. It might creak or clunk a little bit, that's just as the joints get warmed up. Or it might just mean you have to do this a bit more often. And then place the foot to the floor. Well done. Let's do the same with the other leg. So lift. Keep the pelvis still and rotate the leg within the hip. Forget you've got a foot. Just think about your thigh bone circling within the hip joints. This helps stimulate you are prone to rolling ankles, this is a really good exercise to help people mobile and strong. Change direction. Excellent. And then replace the foot to the floor. Well done. Stretch both legs out, arms over your head. Full body stretch. Flex the feet, press your back into the floor as you stretch. And then bring your arms back. Okay, bending your knees again. We're going to just take your body back the other way. So bring your heels a little bit closer to the hips. But have your feet together. Knees slightly apart as if you were holding a tennis ball between your knees. We're going to do a little pelvic tilt. So if I just take my hands out of the way, I'll just put them here, but I want you to keep your hands down by your sides so that you can see what I'm doing. So your feet are tight together. I just want you to breathe in and tilt the pelvis. So you flatten the lower back to the mat. Squeeze your bum and just lift your hips, just enough so you could slide your hands underneath. Then press your back into the floor and gently rock your pelvis back to neutral. And again, tilt, squeeze your bum, lift your hips, press it down and rock back to neutral. So this really is just a pelvic tilt to stretch out your lower back and to get you to use your bum, your glute muscles, which are your buttocks, to be able to lift a bit higher. Because we've done a lot of concentration on keeping it still, it's nice just to stretch it out. Now take your feet hip width distance apart and let's do a full bridge. So breathe in, tilt the pelvis, flatten the lower back into the floor, squeeze your buttocks, slowly lift your hips as you peel up into bridge. Now bridge is not massive. You want your maximum point should be that straight line from your knees, your hips to your shoulders, not an arch. Breathe in at the top and then breathe out very slowly. Roll the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Keep your hips up and try and press your lower back into the floor. And then roll your pelvis back to neutral. Okay, again, so breathe in, tilt. Squeeze the buttocks, slowly lift. Keep the chin tucked in to the length of the back of your neck. Breathe in, breathe out, roll down slowly. Try and get that sense of rocking, just like you did with the basic bits, the pelvic tilt. So you want to feel it rock back to neutral. So you're getting the stretch into your lower back. Let's add your arms so you get a little bit more stretch this time. So you tilt, squeeze your bum to lift up, hold. Take your arms over your head. Stretch your arms along the floor, leaving them there as you roll your spine down slowly. So you're trying to get each vertebrae to connect with the floor. Press the lower back down and then rock your pelvis back to neutral. And bring your arms back. Try not to lift and lower in one big lump. This is about mobilizing your spine as well as helping to strengthen your core and your glutes. So very important. Arms over. And a long breath out. To roll down slowly. Roll back to neutral. And then bring your arms back. Perfect. It's lovely. It's a nice stretch on your back. So one more. Tilt. Squeeze to peel up. Don't hyperextend or don't go too high. Arms over. Do try and keep your knees hip width distance apart and your feet firm on the floor. Push your way into the knees as you roll down slowly. Roll back to neutral. And then bring your arms back. Excellent. Hip flexor stretch to release. Draw one knee in, slide the other leg out. Flexing the foot on the extended leg and hold. shoulders or your neck, just bring your hands down a bit. This is where you should feel it. This is just stretching around the waist, so it stretches into your obliques. If you push your knees firmly to the floor, you'll feel it down the front, just inside the pelvis. And then back to the center. Okay. Popping one ankle across the knee, either push the knee away or put both hands behind your thigh and pull the leg towards you. And then change legs, obviously. So, easy option, push the knee away. Harder option, both hands behind and pull. Now don't worry if you can't get into this position, just stick with the easier option. You're still going to get a stretch, don't be tempted to miss it out. This stretches the outer thighs. So we've done backs of the legs, fronts of the legs and the sides, as well as the back, front and sides of the body. Excellent. Now just relax for a couple of minutes. So hands resting on the front of the hips will relax your shoulders. Your legs can be fully extended if you prefer, but you need really to be able to relax your spine. And in this position, your spine is totally relaxed. Now the feet may be a little bit wider. When your legs are fully extended, your spine is actually working. You can feel it once you've relaxed like this, and then you take your legs down, you can feel your back start to work. And breathe. Just a couple of nice deep breaths. And then just try and relax and sink into the floor. Calm your breathing down from your deep breathing and let it become more normal and natural. So not controlling it, but being aware of your breath going in and out. And as you relax a little and just concentrate on your breathing, start to be aware that your breathing is now belly breathing. So your tummy starts to go up and down as you breathe in and out. So this is quite a nice time to be aware of your breathing and how you breathe. So that if you do find the Pilates breathing quite difficult, this is one way to practice. So as you become accustomed and feel how your tummy's going up and down, try just gently pulling your tummy in and switching the breathing to your ribs. You rest your hands on the rib cage, you'll feel the rib cage expand and reduce. And again, just then start to relax into it and switch back to normal breathing, where your belly goes up and down. So this is a nice way to practice your Pilates breathing. I don't tend to do this at the beginning because everybody tends to be a little bit tense and tight. You need to get you relaxed first. But a good time to practice it is maybe first thing in the morning when you wake up naturally, not if you've been woken by the alarm clock and have to jump up, rush off to work, but if you can just wake up normally and just lie still and be aware of how you're breathing and what your body is doing. So that you start to learn a little bit more about how your body moves and what to look for. When you've had enough, let's just have a bit of a stretch with your fingers and toes. You can lie there as long as you like, practice breathing as much as you want to, and as often as you want to. It's very meditational, just to focus on how your body breathes and the different ways in which you can breathe using your abdominals or your ribs. So well done everybody, thank you for that. Nice to go back to basics occasionally, especially if you've been very motivated to do harder exercises, harder routines. It's nice to sometimes just tone it down and go back to basics. Any questions, get in touch. I'm here near the phone or the computer to answer any questions. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't done already. That does help us. And hopefully we'll see you back in the studio, or maybe you'll become a regular on our YouTube channel, or maybe even join a Zoom class and see me live. Take care everyone. Bye now.